the Great Ministry of War, the Great War finally begins. In this clip, I'll be talking about the most grand and powerful rebranding in the world, which is when Donald Trump suddenly changed the name of the U.S. Department of Defense to the U.S. Department of War. Honestly, the United States has actually used this name before. They would use the name Department of War only when the country was in a state of war. And it was during a world war, too. So in this clip, I want to look at what exactly triggered or provoked Donald Trump to suddenly want to change the name of the department like that. And since this is a finance channel, honestly, no matter who's fighting or at war, what matters most is how our money will survive. So in this clip, besides looking at who's likely to start a war, we'll also check out which assets around the world and which economic indicators are basically shouting 3, 2, 1, war is about to start. You can support the Money Monster channel by scanning this QR code. Or if you want to support Psy Money Monster, it's super easy. Just hit like and share. Leave a comment so we can chat. And most importantly, if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button so next time I post a video, we'll get to see each other again. Sound good? Thank you. The Ministry of War became directly involved in the situation because one of the primary reasons that served as a major catalyst for the escalation was this grand, spectacular military parade at Tiananmen Square in China. Bloomberg even went as far as to call this Chinese military parade the most formidable and expansive military force in the world. Honestly, China had never held such a massive and overwhelming military parade before. It had been a long time since anything like this happened, since the days of the revolution under Mao Zedong back in 1976. And what's really important is that this incredibly grand parade by China wasn't just about showing off 10,000 troops, long-range missiles, high-tech robots, or combat drones. There was something even more significant about it, because it was a gathering of these three prominent left-wing world leaders, led by President Xi Jinping, the Russian President Vladimir Putin, and President Kim Jong-un of North Korea. The official appearance of these three leaders together like this hasn't happened in a very long time, not since the original Cold War era. And at this significant and historic meeting, Kim Jong-un made it very clear that he was fully prepared to offer his complete support. To fully support and assist Russia as brothers. Kim Jong-un made it very clear that this support is military support, whether it's sending troops or supplying weapons to help Russia fight against Ukraine to the fullest extent. Reuters also reported, citing South Korean intelligence, that more than 2,000 North Korean soldiers have already died on the battlefield fighting against Ukraine. And North Korea may send an additional 6,000 troops on top of those already on the battlefield, currently about 1,000 soldiers. Moreover, the fact that these three leftist leaders appeared together officially in the media also carries a meaning that really angers and frustrates the United States. It shows that North Korea, which has been sanctioned by the US and the world for a long time, is not isolated, but is actually receiving support from other countries. The two global powers in question are China and Russia. When this specific image was first released, President Donald Trump of the United States immediately posted on social media, saying, "Please send my warmest regards to Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un, as they are clearly conspiring together against the United States." However, Donald Trump also commented on China's massive military parade, saying that, in reality, it was a ceremony. It was a very beautiful ceremony, but this is Donald Trump speaking. I know what they're planning to do. Honestly, I have good relationships with all of them. We'll probably have to talk soon. And then, just 2 days after the military parade at Tiananmen Square in China, Donald Trump was about to pick up his pen and change the name of the Pentagon to the Ministry of War instead of the Department of Defense. Of course, if we look at the images from that parade, we will see that China's military hardware is extremely ready. And the fact that they brought out so much to show off, it's definitely not just for show. They're displaying their military might, basically announcing that they're ready for war, like, see you at the next block. But, well, that next block might be a little farther away, especially if you listen to Donald Trump's interview. Because Donald Trump said, "Do you know why the United States is changing the name from the Department of Defense to the Department of War?" Because the United States, we've already won both World War I and World War II, and then he didn't really say anything else, just said, "Well, that's just how it is." It kind of sounds. Why didn't he finish what he was saying? Didn't even let Donald Trump finish talking. We won Factory 1 and Factory 2, which are called Auschwitz, the Auschwitz operation. And when it comes to things like, well, this and that, what does that even mean? And was there a third time? What do you all think? Maybe leave a comment. Actually, yes, the Pentagon wasn't called the Department of Defense at first. In America, they used to call the Pentagon the Department of War from 1789 to 1947. That was during World War I and World War II. After that, they changed the name to the Department of Defense, which happened after World War II ended. So does that mean the United States only used the name Department of War during times when the world was actually at war, meaning World War I and World War II. So does that mean if Donald Trump changes the name from the Department of Defense back to the Department of War, it signals that the world is entering a state of war again? Even though there hasn't been any official announcement, there's also another sign, like the sign in front of the Secretary of Defense's office. Does that mean the Secretary of Defense, Pete Sec, who has now become the Secretary of War, is basically a general now? Honestly, the tension, the standoff between China and the United States is really intense, and it's becoming more and more obvious. It's almost gone beyond just a trade war now. Whether it's China's stance, like how everyone knows Taiwan is basically a sensitive point. The key thing is, if China makes a move, the US definitely won't just stand by. But China has already openly announced its plan to invade Taiwan. Like, they've made it clear it'll happen in 2027. They're saying they'll go for it. As for the United States, it's always been this way. In the South China Sea, the countries bordering it, China is surrounded by places like Taiwan, Japan, Korea, and so on, right? If you go all the way down to Singapore, that's basically the US's midline. It's all under their influence. Or, for example, listen to this sound clip. This sound here is a radio transmission that some people have noticed might be related to the transport of missiles from the United States to Diego Garcia Island in the Indian Ocean. This is to ensure strategic operational readiness. If you look at the map, this is Diego Garcia Island, and from here, nuclear missiles can be launched to reach North Korea, China, Russia, and Iran. All right, now let's take a look at some numbers regarding assets and such. One of the numbers is the price of gold, which makes it quite plausible that a war might break out. JP Morgan has forecasted that the price of gold, which is currently around $3,300 per ounce, could potentially soar by 80% to $6,000 per ounce by 2029. Because statistically, the price of gold always spikes whenever there's a war. You can see from this graph, when the Soviets invaded Afghanistan, the price went up. When the US invaded Afghanistan, gold prices rose. At the start of the Iraq War, gold prices also increased. And the time it really shot up was when Russia invaded Ukraine, right? Then it went up again during the Israel-Hamas war. So if from now on there's a likelihood of another war, based on past statistics, it's quite possible that gold prices will rise again. The price of gold, will keep going up if the threat of war gets even stronger. Do we know why gold prices rise during wartime? Because when there's a war, one of the main risks is that a government's currency could collapse. If a country loses a war, it's not just the country that loses. Their currency loses too. That country's money could lose its value dramatically, dropping so fast it's shocking, no matter what. The currency, the local currency, and the government bonds of that country will all lose value along with the country's defeat in the war. That's why in those situations, only assets that truly have value, real stores of value, can actually preserve their worth and survive. As of today, there hasn't been any official declaration of a World War III or anything like that, but what we do know for sure is that the US dollar index, the DXY, has dropped by 11.29% since the beginning of the year. So when the value of the US dollar drops, it means the purchasing power of people in the United States also declines. That's because importing anything becomes more expensive. Okay, so the purchasing power of Americans goes down when the US dollar weakens. So is this just America's problem? How does it relate to us? Actually, it's very much connected because when the US dollar drops in value, don't forget that the Thai baht and almost every currency in the world is backed by the US dollar. And if you look at history, whenever a government loses a war or its currency collapses, what that government tends to do is in order to keep the country's political system, government, and economy running is let the people collapse. The government can do anything, whether it's declaring the currency void altogether or, to a lesser extent, not allowing people to withdraw money, like in Lebanon, where there was massive unrest. Or they could just let hyperinflation run wild, letting the currency crash and burn until paper money is worth as much as tissue paper, like in the Weimar Republic of Germany, or in Venezuela, Zimbabwe, Argentina, and so on. They've all done it before. Or they could make it look a bit more gimmicky than that. Exactly. For example, they could just move the decimal point. Like, no matter how much money you have in the bank, the government announces they're shifting the decimal one place. That means you instantly lose a digit. 10 million becomes 1 million, 1 million becomes 100,000, 100,000 becomes 10,000, and so on. This has actually happened before. And this is one of the reasons why Bitcoin, which is an asset not controlled by any government and importantly can't be inflated, has become such a high-flying asset. And it's not just a recent thing either. The price has been skyrocketing recently. You can see that, yes, Bitcoin broke through $100,000 a long time ago. Right now, one Bitcoin is already at 3.5 million or 3.6 million. The signs of war coming or the signals that a war is about to start aren't just that some assets have surged dramatically over the past year or two. There's another sign as well, which is that one particular asset is starting to collapse: government bonds. Especially the government bonds of major countries. People used to hold them as a way to stabilize their portfolios for security, but now they're not secure anymore. Let's start with a country that just recently experienced this: England. England has cut interest rates 5 times in a row now, but British government bonds are still yielding as high as 5.7%. I've explained this several times already, but I'll explain it once more in case anyone doesn't know or hasn't heard it before. Government bonds, if they have to offer a high yield, it means that other people, investors, aren't really interested in buying them anymore, so they have to raise the yield. This means the quality and price of the bonds have gone down. And if government bond yields go up, it means the interest the government has to pay is higher. If the government has to pay higher interest, that increases their financial burden, which in turn raises the possibility that the government might default or miss debt payments. It's gone up even more. In the UK, the yield I mentioned, 5.7%, is actually the highest since April 1998, so that's in 27 years. As for the United States, the signals have been there for a while. Right now, the 10-year US Treasury bond, which used to yield about 1% back in 2020, is now almost at 5%. That means the price of US government bonds has really dropped as well, going from 1 to almost 5%. Almost 5%. As for Japan, it's another country where people like to hold government bonds. The value of Japan's 30-year government bonds has already dropped by half since 2019. That's about a 45% decrease, and that's just within a single year. In Japan, it's really hard for interest rates to go up, like extremely hard, because they have to do yen carry trades, right? But in just 1 year, Japan's interest rate has gone up by 100 basis points, or 1%, which is a huge deal for Japan. And the problem is, US government bonds from the UK, Japan, and so on, they're not just held within their own countries. Like I mentioned, these bonds are held by central banks all over the world. They're in big companies, small companies, all sorts of banks and financial institutions, which means that if the price of these bonds drops, all the institutions holding them in their portfolios are in trouble. There's a real risk they could collapse if the drop is severe enough. And up to today, The signs of war are clear. Whether it's China's grand military parades, why do they have to make them so massive? Or the United States changing the name of the Department of Defense to the Department of War? Asset prices, whether it's gold or Bitcoin, have surged that much. And since you've already prepared yourself to survive in this situation, honestly, everyone's done a great job getting ready in time, whether it happens or not. But the most important thing is, now that we've prepared ourselves, don't miss out on diversifying your risk. Because cash is just one type of asset. Cash is only a single asset that's completely controlled by one government or another. So don't forget to back up your own portfolio with assets that, no matter which government in the world disappears, these assets won't disappear. They need to be assets that help preserve your wealth and get you through a crisis. Now that you've prepared, saved up, and been careful, don't forget to diversify your risk too.